Welcome to this overview of audit procedures, techniques, and tools. These are three important concepts that work together throughout the audit process. Audit procedures are the actual actions auditors perform to gather evidence, evaluate controls, and support audit conclusions. Audit techniques are the approaches used when carrying out those procedures, such as sampling, walkthroughs, analytical review, or risk-based testing. Audit tools are the technologies that support the audit process, helping auditors analyze data, monitor activity, improve efficiency, and strengthen audit evidence. An important concept to remember is that tools support the auditor, but they do not replace professional judgment. Strong auditing combines effective procedures, appropriate techniques, supporting technologies, and objective evidence to reach reliable audit conclusions. Let's now break down each of these areas in more detail. Let's start with a key audit principle. Audit procedures, techniques, and tools all work together to support the audit process. Together, they help auditors gather reliable evidence, evaluate controls, and support risk-based audit conclusions. It is also important to understand the difference between them. Procedures are the actual actions auditors perform to obtain evidence. Techniques improve the way those procedures are carried out. And tools help improve efficiency, especially when working with large amounts of data or complex environments. Understanding how these concepts connect is essential for both practical auditing and exam-style questions. This diagram shows how audit procedures, techniques, and tools fit together within the overall audit process. Everything begins with the audit objective, what the auditor is trying to evaluate or conclude. To achieve that objective, the auditor performs audit procedures. These are the actual actions used to gather evidence, such as inquiry, inspection, observation, reperformance, or confirmation. Next are audit techniques. These are the approaches used when carrying out procedures, including sampling, walkthroughs, analytical review, and trend analysis. Audit tools then support the process by improving efficiency and helping auditors analyze larger volumes of information. Examples include CAATs, SIEM platforms, spreadsheets, and GRC tools. All of this contributes to audit evidence, which ultimately supports the final audit conclusion. A useful way to remember the difference is: procedures are what the auditor does, techniques are how the auditor performs it, and tools are what the auditor uses. One of the most common audit procedures is inquiry. Inquiry involves asking questions to understand how processes and controls operate within the organization. Auditors use inquiry to clarify procedures, understand responsibilities, identify potential risks, and obtain explanations from management or staff. For example, an auditor may interview staff members about how user access reviews are performed or how changes are approved within a system. However, an important exam concept is that inquiry alone is considered weaker audit evidence. This is because responses may be incomplete, inaccurate, or unsupported by objective evidence. As a result, inquiry is usually combined with additional procedures such as inspection, observation, or reperformance to strengthen the reliability of the audit conclusion. Another important audit procedure is observation. Observation involves watching controls or operational activities being performed in real time. Auditors use observation to confirm the procedures are actually being followed and that controls are operating as intended. For example, an auditor may observe physical access control procedures, backup operations, or how staff handle sensitive information within a secure environment. Observation can provide valuable insight into how processes operate in practice, rather than how they are simply described in documentation. However, an important exam concept is that observation only confirms the control at that specific point in time. People may behave differently when they know they are being observed, and the control may not operate consistently outside the observation period. Because of this, observation is usually combined with other procedures such as inspection, inquiry, or reperformance to obtain stronger audit evidence. Inspection is one of the most important audit procedures because it involves reviewing documents, records, and other forms of evidence. Auditors use inspection to validate that controls are operating, approvals have occurred, procedures are being followed, and activities are properly documented. Examples of inspection include reviewing change approvals, access review reports, system logs, policies, procedures, and transaction records. Unlike verbal explanations alone, inspection provides more objective and reliable evidence because the auditor can verify documented proof directly. An important exam concept is that documented evidence is generally considered stronger than inquiry alone. However, auditors must still evaluate whether the evidence is complete, accurate, authorized, and relevant to the audit objective. This is why inspection is often one of the core procedures used to support audit conclusions and control effectiveness assessments. Reperformance is an audit procedure where the auditor independently repeats a control or process to verify that it operates correctly. The purpose of reperformance is to validate control effectiveness, confirm calculations or processing accuracy, and independently verify results. For example, an auditor may recalculate payroll totals, repeat an access review process, or independently verify system-generated reports. Because the auditor performs the activity directly, reperformance provides highly reliable evidence and reduces dependence on management explanations alone. An important exam concept is that reperformance is generally considered one of the strongest forms of audit evidence. This is because the auditor personally confirms whether the control or process produces the expected result. In many audit scenarios, answers involving independent verification or reperformance are often stronger than answers based only on inquiry or observation. Analytical procedures are audit techniques used to evaluate information by analyzing trends, relationships, patterns, and unusual fluctuations in data. The main purpose of analytical procedures is to identify unusual activity, detect anomalies, support risk analysis, and highlight potential fraud indicators or control weaknesses. Auditors use analytical procedures to compare current results against expectations, historical trends, budgets, or industry benchmarks. For example, an auditor may identify duplicate payments, analyze unusual transactions, review unexpected account movements, or compare monthly transaction trends. These procedures are especially valuable when dealing with large volumes of data where manual review would be inefficient. Common supporting tools include data analytics platforms, CAATs, SIEM tools, spreadsheets, and reporting dashboards. An important CISA exam concept is that analytical procedures help auditors focus attention on high-risk or abnormal areas that may require deeper investigation or additional testing. They support risk-based auditing by helping auditors identify where problems are most likely to exist. Sampling is an audit technique where the auditor tests a portion of a population rather than examining every single item. The purpose of sampling is to reduce audit effort, improve efficiency, analyze large populations, and obtain reasonable assurance within practical time and cost limits. In most audits, testing 100% of transactions is not practical, especially in high-volume environments. Instead, auditors select representative samples to evaluate whether controls are operating effectively. For example, an auditor may select a sample of purchase transactions to verify approvals, segregation of duties, or compliance with policy requirements. A key CISA exam concept is that sampling provides reasonable assurance, not absolute assurance. Because only part of the population is tested, there is always a possibility that errors or exceptions may exist outside the selected sample. This is why auditors must use professional judgment when determining sample size, sample selection methods, and the level of risk involved. High-risk areas generally require larger samples and more detailed testing. Confirmation is an audit procedure used to obtain evidence directly from independent third parties. The purpose of confirmation is to validate information independently, confirm balances or activities, and strengthen the reliability of audit evidence. Because the information comes from an external source, confirmations are generally considered stronger and more reliable than internal explanations or undocumented statements. Common examples include bank confirmations, vendor confirmations, customer confirmations, and legal confirmations. For example, an auditor may contact a bank directly to verify account balances, loan information, or authorized signatories. A key CISA exam principle is that external evidence is usually more reliable than internally generated evidence, especially when the auditor receives the response directly from the third party. Confirmation procedures help auditors increase confidence in the accuracy, completeness, and validity of information being audited. Walkthroughs are audit procedures where the auditor follows a transaction through an entire process from beginning to end. The purpose of a walkthrough is to understand the process flow, identify key control points, validate how controls operate, and detect weaknesses or gaps in the process. During a walkthrough, the auditor traces actual transactions, reviews supporting documentation, and observes how information moves through the system. For example, an auditor may trace a user access request from initiation, through approval, provisioning, and final implementation to verify that access controls are functioning correctly. Walkthroughs are commonly used during audit planning and process understanding because they help auditors gain insight into how activities really operate in practice. A key CISA concept is that walkthroughs help auditors identify where risks exist, where controls should operate, and where additional testing may be required. They are especially valuable for understanding complex business processes, system interactions, and segregation of duties within an organization. Continuous monitoring is the ongoing observation of controls, systems, and security events to identify issues and support continuous assurance. The purpose of continuous monitoring is to detect problems quickly, monitor high-risk activities, improve visibility over controls, and strengthen ongoing governance and risk management. Unlike periodic audits that occur at specific points in time, continuous monitoring operates continuously or in near real time. Common examples include SIEM alerts, privileged access monitoring, automated exception reporting, security dashboards, and continuous compliance checks. For example, a SIEM platform may continuously monitor security logs and generate alerts when suspicious activity or policy violations are detected. A key CISA exam concept is that continuous monitoring improves visibility and responsiveness, but it does not eliminate the need for auditor judgment and independent evaluation. Auditors still need to assess whether alerts are meaningful, whether controls are operating effectively, and whether monitoring activities are reliable and properly configured. Continuous monitoring is especially important in high-risk, high-volume, and rapidly changing environments where manual oversight alone would not be sufficient. One of the most important concepts in auditing is understanding the difference between strong and weak audit evidence. Stronger evidence is generally more reliable, more objective, and easier to verify independently. For example, reperformance is considered very strong evidence because the auditor independently repeats the control or calculation to confirm the result. External confirmations are also strong because the evidence comes directly from independent third parties, such as banks, vendors, or customers. System-generated logs, automated evidence, and independently verified records are usually considered more reliable than verbal explanations. On the other hand, weaker evidence often relies heavily on personal explanations, unsupported statements, or informal discussions that cannot easily be verified. For example, inquiry alone is generally weaker evidence unless it is supported by inspection, observation, or reperformance. A key CISA exam principle is that auditors should prefer objective, independent, and verifiable evidence whenever possible. The stronger the evidence, the more reliable the audit conclusion. This slide brings together common audit scenarios and the most appropriate audit procedures or techniques that auditors would typically use. If the objective is to validate payroll calculations, reperformance is usually the best approach because the auditor independently recalculates the results to verify accuracy. When trying to understand a business process, auditors commonly use inquiry and walkthroughs to trace activities and identify control points. To verify approvals or supporting documentation, inspection is often the most appropriate procedure because it involves reviewing records, logs, or evidence directly. If the goal is to detect anomalies, unusual trends, or suspicious transactions, analytical procedures are commonly used to analyze large volumes of data efficiently. When confirming account balances or independent information, confirmation procedures are used to obtain evidence directly from third parties. And when validating real-time monitoring or operational activities, observation helps the auditor see controls being performed in practice. A key CISA exam concept is that auditors must select procedures and techniques based on the audit objective, the level of risk, and the reliability of evidence required. A common theme throughout CISA audit questions is identifying the audit procedure that provides the strongest, most reliable, and most objective evidence. In most situations, the best audit procedure is the one that supports risk-based auditing, improves reliability, reduces detection risk, and focuses attention on high-risk areas. Procedures such as reperformance, inspection, analytical procedures, confirmation, and automated evidence are generally stronger than relying only on verbal explanations. The CISA exam also frequently tests the concept of objective evidence. The more independent and verifiable the evidence is, the more reliable the audit conclusion becomes. One of the most common exam traps is choosing inquiry alone when stronger evidence is available. For example, if documentation, system logs, or independent confirmations exist, those would usually provide stronger assurance than simply asking someone whether a control was performed. A good auditor combines multiple procedures and selects the approach that best addresses audit risk, control effectiveness, and evidence reliability. This slide focuses on tools and supporting technologies used during modern audits to improve efficiency, strengthen evidence collection, and support risk-based auditing. These technologies help auditors analyze large volumes of data, identify anomalies, monitor events, validate controls, and improve overall audit coverage. Some of the most common tools include CAATs, data analytics platforms, SIEM systems, vulnerability scanners, ticketing systems, and audit management software. CAATs and data analytics tools are widely used to analyze transactions, detect exceptions, and perform large-scale testing that would be difficult to complete manually. SIEM platforms help auditors monitor security logs and identify suspicious events, while vulnerability scanners assist in identifying technical weaknesses and missing patches. Ticketing systems and audit management platforms support governance activities by tracking incidents, approvals, audit findings, and remediation actions. A key CISA concept is that tools improve efficiency and visibility, but they do not replace auditor judgment. Auditors must still apply professional skepticism, understand business risk, evaluate evidence quality, and determine whether controls are truly operating effectively. The strongest audits combine effective technology with strong audit procedures, analytical thinking, and risk-based decision-making. These tools help auditors automate testing, analyze large datasets, monitor security events, validate configurations, and strengthen audit evidence. CAATs, or computer-assisted audit techniques, are commonly used to analyze high volumes of transactions efficiently and improve audit coverage. Data analytics tools help identify anomalies, trends, duplicate transactions, and unusual patterns that may indicate errors, fraud, or control weaknesses. ACL and IDEA are specialized audit data analysis tools frequently used for segregation of duties testing, exception analysis, and large-scale transaction review. SIEM tools centralize log monitoring and help auditors review security events, detect suspicious activity, and evaluate detective controls. Vulnerability scanners assist auditors in identifying missing patches, security weaknesses, and configuration issues within systems and networks. Configuration review tools validate whether systems comply with approved security baselines and configuration standards. Network monitoring tools help identify unusual traffic patterns and operational issues, while GRC platforms support governance, risk, and control management activities. Ticketing systems and workflow tools are commonly reviewed during audits to validate approvals, incident handling, and operational processes. Continuous monitoring tools provide ongoing visibility into privileged access, exceptions, and control activities in real time. Penetration testing tools simulate attacks to validate security effectiveness, while backup verification tools confirm recoverability and business continuity readiness. Audit tools play an important role in improving the effectiveness and efficiency of modern audits, especially in technology-driven environments. One of the biggest advantages of audit tools is that they save time by automating repetitive testing and analyzing large volumes of information much faster than manual methods. They also help reduce audit costs by allowing auditors to focus effort on higher-risk areas rather than spending excessive time on low-risk activities. Audit tools improve efficiency by streamlining evidence collection, monitoring controls, analyzing transactions, and identifying anomalies more quickly. A key benefit in risk-based auditing is that these tools help auditors focus attention on high-risk areas where deeper analysis or additional testing may be required. Tools also improve accuracy by reducing manual calculation errors and increasing consistency in testing and reporting. Another important concept is that tools enable auditors to analyze very large populations of data rather than relying only on small manual samples. This improves audit coverage and strengthens the level of reasonable assurance provided by the audit. A key CISA exam principle is that tools support the audit process, but they do not replace auditor judgment, professional skepticism, or risk-based decision-making. Audit tools are most valuable in situations where manual auditing would be inefficient, impractical, or unable to provide sufficient coverage. One common example is when populations are extremely large. Instead of manually reviewing thousands or even millions of records, auditors can use automated tools to analyze the entire dataset more efficiently. Tools are also important when manual testing is impractical due to time constraints, system complexity, or the volume of transactions being processed. Another major use case is continuous monitoring. Many organizations rely on real-time monitoring tools, such as SIEM platforms and automated alerting systems, to identify unusual activity or potential control failures as they occur. Audit tools are especially effective when detailed data analysis is required. Data analytics and CAATs help auditors identify anomalies, trends, duplicate transactions, unusual access activity, or potential fraud indicators. In risk-based auditing, tools become even more valuable in high-risk areas where deeper analysis and stronger audit evidence are needed. A common CISA exam concept is that audit tools improve audit coverage, efficiency, and analysis capability, particularly in large, high-risk, or data-intensive environments. Let's look at some practical examples of how auditors match the right tool to the right audit objective. If the auditor needs to review millions of transactions, data analytics tools or CAATs would usually be the most appropriate choice because manual testing would be impractical. When monitoring security events and log activity, auditors often rely on SIEM platforms to analyze alerts, suspicious activity, and potential security incidents. If the objective is to validate patch compliance and identify missing updates, vulnerability scanners are typically the most effective tool. For reviewing user access rights and permissions, IAM reporting tools help auditors analyze access assignments, privileged accounts, and segregation of duties issues. When investigating duplicate payments or unusual transaction activity, ACL or IDEA tools are commonly used for detailed audit analysis and anomaly detection. And when reviewing change approvals and operational activities, ticketing systems provide important audit evidence showing approvals, workflows, and control execution. One of the key lessons here is that different audit objectives require different audit tools and techniques. A strong auditor understands not only the audit objective, but also which tool provides the most effective and reliable evidence for that specific scenario. As we wrap up, there are a few important principles to remember about audit procedures, techniques, and tools. First, audit procedures are used to gather reliable audit evidence. The quality of the audit conclusion depends heavily on the quality of the evidence collected. Second, different procedures support different audit objectives. For example, inquiry may help auditors understand a process, while reperformance provides stronger validation of control effectiveness. Another important concept is that stronger evidence leads to stronger audit conclusions. Evidence that is objective, independent, and verifiable is generally considered more reliable than verbal explanations alone. This is why objective evidence is usually preferred during audits. System-generated logs, external confirmations, documented approvals, and independently verified results are typically stronger forms of evidence. Finally, risk-based auditing drives procedure selection. Auditors choose procedures, techniques, and tools based on the level of risk, the type of control being tested, and the reliability of evidence required.